Welcome to Tech Fever, Play Everything's weekly tech podcast where we talk about all the tech news of the week, everything from home theater to smart home to AI and robots and everything in between. Every week we'll break down the weekly tech news of the week. We'll give you some tech picks of the week, what we've been playing with, and if you want to get a question read live on air, you can send it into TechFeverPodcast@gmail.com. Alongside me as semi-always, Kevin Coello.
Did you do a show without me?
No. When we have the shows, I mean, yes.
Okay,
alongside
when we have the shows,
when we have the show, it's always Kevin Coello.
The when we have the shows part is the like, because sometimes I'm like, hey, Mike, I have to clean out my garage tonight. It's the only night that I have free to do this, so that I can make space, so that when my sister-in-law comes to move in, we can store all the boxes in the garage.
Dude,
See,
and sometimes it's, hey, Kevin, our store door broke and I can't make it to do the show because I have to be here overnight. Your garage, man, out of control. By the way, the last state I've seen it.
Yeah, and it will remain that way for maybe another month, maybe a month and a half. But after that, for the foreseeable future, I get it's gonna be my little workshop, and there's the word "little." Very lightly used there. It's a pretty decent size, and I'm very excited to get it up and running soonish.
Kevin's workshop.
Soon-ish.
Yeah, soonish. Yeah. Kevin, you been playing with anything new this week? These last 2 weeks?
I can't. I don't think I have. I'm looking into some new stuff though. You want me to talk about it real quick?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
It's an idea that I got in my head that I'm trying to get out. You know what I mean? Basically, here's the problem I have. I want to play Fortnite with everyone when we stream Fortnite, but it's difficult because I also have to switch because that's my job. Right?
Yeah.
You follow me so far?
Yeah, aware.
Follow me so far? What if, instead of using the Stream Deck to switch, I have 4 foot pedals?
Oh my gosh.
Huh? And then I'm just in there. Joey, me, Greg, Joey again. Oh, Snow Egg Mike.
That only Kevin Coello would come up with even trying to attempt to do something like that.
It's funny. I brought it up today because the people in the chat were like, "Oh, I can't remember." Someone I mentioned it a couple days ago, and the people in the chat today were bringing it up, and I was like, "Oh, you know what? I should look into it." I brought it up, and Greg and Fran were streaming with us today, and they were like, "Oh, that's funny. It's like what we did at IGN for the gameplay people. The what is it called? The walkthroughs."
Oh, the guides?
The guides. Yeah, that's it. The guides. They had gas and brake pedals from racing games set to screenshots, which I think is brilliant.
That's brilliant.
So cool. Yeah,
that's super brilliant.
That's such a good idea. That's such a, because it's one of those things that when you're playing, it's one of those can you imagine having to pause, hit screenshot, try to unpause and get the screen. It's a hassle. That is a hassle.
That's so smart.
Pedal, boom, done. So it's been done before. Not for live switching a studio program.
Dude, that's so funny. Why you're producing?
I can do it. The technology exists.
I have no doubt that you can do it. If there's one person I'd be like, he could get this done and actually make it run pretty smoothly, it's Kevin Coello.
Mm-hmm. Now, the only issue I'm having is finding enough pedals.
Do they sell single pedals?
They sell single pedals, but that's not what I want. I'd like a 4-pedal thing. The only 4-pedal thing that I can find is too expensive. That's even I have limits of I'm not gonna spend $280 on this.
Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, so some pedals in the work for this live switching, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm. You gotta keep experimenting, keep it fresh, keep it tight. You know what I mean?
I've got to tighten up over there. If you notice right now, I have the blurry background.
Yeah.
I finally went full in on NVIDIA broadcast for camera stuff. And
you said you'd never do it. You said you would never do it.
Never said that. Never said that in my life.
You definitely
just
said
you were like, oh, Elgato's trash. I'll never use it. And then look at you, a little Elgato sellout. Flip flop some might say.
I don't
Flip
think so.
flop, some might say.
I mean, I think you're bringing up a dead argument, so you sound
Not.
really dumb. I'm gonna go ahead and give myself the point that's 5 me, 0 you. You know what I
I'm
mean?
just
Like these are
saying,
just numbers.
Kevin Coello, a notorious flip flopper. Everybody knows.
You're thinking of Nick Scarpino. It's fine. You don't watch our content anymore. It's not a big
No.
deal.
Uh,
I get it.
but
Not a big deal.
for those of you actually watching on youtube.com/play everything, you'll notice you'll be like, oh man, the blurry background looks good. I'm actually using a webcam.
Whoa.
I think it actually looks pretty good for a webcam. I'm not
I
gonna
think
lie.
it looks great for a webcam. Yeah, there is a little bit of an issue, right? You see where your microphone connects to
Yeah.
the little stand.
Yeah, like
What? No. What?
like right here.
No. You're no. I'm giving you your microphone.
Oh yeah, where it blurs out.
Yeah. So right there, the little connection, it has a like nubby, like extra blur that's like catching your arm just a little bit. It's interesting.
Yeah.
What percentage do you have it dialed into the NVIDIA broadcast?
I think it's halfway.
Halfway. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. What do you use yours at?
I don't use it. This is a natural bokeh effect. Yeah.
But when you did use it, it was like halfway. I feel like halfway is the way to go.
Oh, I use it like 100% just for funsies.
But
I didn't use it for very long, right? I don't think so.
no. But
No,
I'm
I am a big fan of the auto frame.
yeah, no, auto frame's annoying. It's annoying, but it's cool. It's cool. It's a cool feature. But I will say I am really impressed with just what I think I got the webcam for $100 and a free software could do.
What webcam is it?
So it's the Logitech webcam or stream cam.
I'm sorry, one more time. The Logitech?
Logitech stream cam. It's this guy
the
right
little
here.
square one.
Yeah, this guy right here.
Oh, look how cute it is. I mean, it looks surprisingly good when you set it. Well, you're like, you might be surprised, and I was like, obviously, the NVIDIA broadcast is going on, and you were like, to know that this is a webcam, and I was like, whoa, I was surprised.
No, but it really is. It's pretty impressive. I'm extremely happy with the quality that I've gotten from this $100 webcam that I bought. It's a little bit more. I got it on sale. I think it's usually like 180. But USB-C connection. Look at that guy. Little USB-C connection. And it's important, not everything, and that's the issue. That's the issue, some might say. Free software by NVIDIA, I feel like gives me a pretty dang good quality. Good autofocus, really good exposure adjustment.
Can you come up really close, really fast?
Right? Not bad.
Definitely.
Not terrible, especially for a webcam.
Yeah, for $100 too. What was the promotion going on?
Let's not talk about it.
Okay, all right. Sorry, my bad. My bad. Got secrets.
But yeah, this is what I've been using because the person's camera who I was using, they're getting another one, so I had to give that one back for a little while.
Tombo's cameras, you getting fixed?
Andres, if you watch our content over here, Andres' camera, not Tombo.
Oh, it's Andreas's camera?
Yeah, not Tombo's.
Huh. That's funny.
Why is that
Because
funny?
I now realize that. Okay.
Sorry.
For a long time, you said it's Andreas's camera, and I just wasn't listening. And every time I was like, "Oh, it's Tombo's camera, huh?" My bad, dude.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, so that's what I've been playing with. I'm pretty impressed with it. If you're looking to buy a webcam instead of buying like a super expensive DSLR just to start off with things, if you have a RTX graphics card and this Logitech Stream Cam, I think that's a great pairing to be able to make things work.
Yeah, I think it's cool that works with any camera input.
It's really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for more entry level, if you're just trying to dabble into things or just get going, not spend a lot of money all at once, I think this is a great solution. For one. Kevin, you ready to talk some tech?
Yeah, I'm also thinking about buying this foot pedal thing, but I could do
Uh,
both.
did you find one? Did you find a 4 pedal?
No, I think I'm just gonna have to buy a 3 pedal one. A bunch of people in our chat were like, "We'll just buy 2 3 pedal ones," and it's like that's gonna be ridiculous. That's too many.
Too many connections. Then you gotta have 2 USBs wired up.
You get it.
I know. I understand. Xiaomi files court challenge against U.S. ban. So Xiaomi isn't wasting time disputing the U.S. decision to put it on the list of Chinese military-backed companies and ban American investments. Reuters reports the Chinese phone giant has filed a legal complaint against the U.S. Defense and Treasury Departments, calling the investment ban unlawful and unconstitutional. It also said that the claims of links to the Chinese military were false, and that the lack of American investments would lead to immediate and irreparable harm. The company said 75% of its voting rights belong to co-founders Lin Bin and Li Jun, and there were no military-linked people or organizations within ownership. It also noted that a substantial number of shareholders were Americans, and that 3 of the most prominent shareholders were U.S. investment groups. On top of this, Xiaomi said the very implication of ties to the Chinese military would significantly impair its business deals. It's not certain how Xiaomi will fare in averting the de facto blacklisting, which takes effect March 15th. However, the company's product mix might work in its favor. Unlike Huawei, Xiaomi doesn't have a telecom infrastructure business to raise spying concerns. I just think it's very interesting, all the bans that are going down, especially with Chinese companies that are doing cool stuff and making cool products. Obviously, like I said here in the article, Huawei has the telecom infrastructure, which is a little bit more worrisome. But I mean, I feel like at this point, every company is spying on you at some point.
Sure.
It's just for the right people.
Like all
Just-
of them. Yeah, yeah. Just most of them for themselves.
Yeah.
But why not?
Yeah, for themselves or like the American government. I don't understand. Especially for in their case, the ban on their case, because they're not a telecom company. So
Right.
that's what's going on. You think they're gonna win?
I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to see how this administration handles all these like bans and stuff. Like, are they going to continue? Or are they going to like uphold all the, Because I mean, they haven't taken them down, so they must be warranted, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of stuff to cover. You know what I mean? It's only been a month.
Yeah, it's true, but I don't know. I'm curious to see how this all pans out, and it just like until things start happening, we won't know
Yeah.
what's the like future outcome of stuff. So I think once we start seeing how they're reacting to previous bans, we'll be able to kind of guess how they're going to react to future bans and ongoing. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, and I feel like they have a much better chance of it being overturned
You think so?
in the state that we have right now. I mean, just with the president that we have now. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it might be that those are like the evidence behind, like the reason why those have been blocked is like there might be valid enough evidence.
If
It's just funky, interesting that they could sue, I guess, the U.S. government to be like, oh, it's unconstitutional.
yeah, it's also weird how you would like win that as well. That's why it's always like a weird thing because it's like, well, we make the rules here, so
Yeah, yeah, like
that always interests
But,
me. Is
like,
like, how do you sue a country? Like, what legal you're going through their legal system, or you're going through?
well, I mean, we sue the like, I mean, even Americans sue the country all the time.
Yeah, I feel
You
like
know?
that's a little different though.
You think so?
Yeah,
But like, corporations are weird, where it's like, I don't know what kind of legal standing you have to for the corporation to have like legal stature in the United States. You know what I mean? Where it's
Yeah.
like corporations are considered entities, right? So I wonder, how do you go about, like, what rights does a United States company have versus an international company? And yeah, it's just things that I've never looked into.
Yeah, because
But fascinating.
like
Yeah.
a country can't sue a country. Well, that's not
Or
how it
can
works,
it?
right? I don't know. What legal
I don't
system would
know.
you
I
go
don't know.
through? Whose rules would you play by?
International rules?
If you're a law expert, go ahead and write into
Yeah.
TechFeverPodcast at gmail.com. Let us know how that would work out.
Is that what Interpol is for? Someone let us know. Is that what Interpol is for?
Isn't that a police organization?
Yeah, I don't know, but like, don't police people need to have laws to enforce? So they must be making rules. You know what I'm saying?
I don't understand how any of this world works.
Yeah, like, can the police enforce laws if there's no governing system?
I mean, yeah, but where'd this conversation come from?
Where I'm saying, like, that, like, if Interpol exists, there must be some laws that everyone has agreed to, because otherwise, how are you breaking the laws? So
Oh,
if
like
there's an
international law,
international,
like an international law.
yeah, and if there's international laws, there must be some sort of international court,
It's too
right?
much. It's too much. It's too much
Is
for
this
our.
is the UN? Does the UN fuck with Interpol?
I know,
Why
and
don't we
that's another
know any
thing.
of these things?
Yeah, exactly. Write us in. Write us in if you're a law expert.
Yeah.
Love to
Or
hear
just have read a book.
it. Xiaomi also in the news. You actually sent me this article. The remote wireless charging power up to your phone from across the room. So inductive wireless charging that works via pads and coils is still not available everywhere or on every device. But XDA points that some Xiaomi is testing a leap to the next step: remote wireless charging. Touchless true wireless charging could energize devices from several meters away, and Xiaomi is touting its approach dubbed Mi Air Charge technology. We've seen remote wireless charging before, including in the Energis Watt approach we saw at CES 2015. However, they haven't come to market yet, and Xiaomi isn't talking about any specifics. Sorry, on release date or compatible hardware, showing off a demo. Sorry, this is right. Showing off a demo, talking about the 17 patents it has and more from other phone manufacturers. 5 watt charger within the devices, right? So I don't understand how this technology works. I'm not sure if you're too appraised to the actual technology behind it.
So in the past, what I've seen is they have, well, it like sends a small, like essentially vibration, a current. I don't know, that like tickles the receiving part and gets that going, and that starts the charging process. But this shit is like wild, weird ass fucking Tesla magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't even know.
And by Tesla, I mean Nikola Tesla, not Tesla the car company.
I don't even know how. Like, I feel like this would light shit on fire. I feel like the first wave of this, we talked about it a little bit. Somebody's getting cancer. Somebody's like, it's lighting a building on fire somewhere.
But didn't we like? Didn't people feel that way when they heard about cell phones?
Yeah, and 5G's here, giving us all cancer.
Well, it's spreading COVID.
That's also what I hear.
That's what people say. Jesus Christ.
We just got flagged on YouTube.
It's not. We're joking. I don't like this. Yeah, it's like everything seems scary when you don't know anything about it. You know what I mean? Like, this is gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna make us all like not need chargers anymore. Is it gonna kill our batteries long term? Maybe. I don't know. Like, that's one of those things where it's like, what if you have that on your desk, right? And you come there and you put your phone down and it starts wirelessly charging. Great. You were at 30% because it's 5 o'clock. You're watching porn, whatever you do for a couple hours, right? Whatever. Once you're done with that, like, what if your phone only needed an hour? I guess it's really slow charging, so it probably didn't charge that much, right? Because 5 watts really low power.
I mean,
That's
a standard Apple brick, like
not
the
anymore.
small Apple brick.
That's not the old standard Apple brick.
No, they still. I mean, there's no Apple brick anymore. There's no standard Apple brick because it doesn't come with phones anymore. But the last iPhone had that Apple brick. that power brick. And then the next one up, I think, is 25, 10, 15.
No, they 15. It's 15, I think.
The USB-C one. But yeah, it's slow charging, but also it's not like it's going to stop charging it after it's charged. So then you run into that issue where you overcharge your battery.
That's exactly what I wanted to bring up. That was my next thing of like, so you're overcharging your battery long term, right?
Yeah, that would suck.
Like
imagine like your laptop.
Because like these devices, like you're not supposed to have your phone plugged in all day, because that if I no like I believe what happens is you only get so many cycles with your battery, right?
Yeah.
So let's say the number's 10,000, and that's enough for 5 years worth of battery use for normal. Let's say even 3 years worth of normal use, right? So if you're constantly feeding your battery, that's gonna wear that down more. So they have to have some really smart things in play that would there's a blue screen. There it is. That to like let the system know to like when it needs to be off, when it needs to be on. And it's just one of those things of like, I guess it's like if the battery on its own discharges under like 10%, so it hits 90, start charging again. This is all really fascinating stuff, and I'm going to be honest, after thinking about it, I think it's real super cool, and I can't wait for the electricity to be flowing through me to my phone, you know what I mean? Let it charge me up. Charge me up.
And
maybe
it's
static shock powers.
One of those things that you could see probably implemented in like electrical lines where it's like in the future electric cars could be charged. You know?
Do you know what I was talking about when I mentioned Nikola Tesla?
Yeah, didn't he come up with, or he had some theory or idea?
Supposedly,
that was this.
I mean, not this. It was a much bigger scale where essentially he wanted to store electricity in the clouds and then beam it to other giant towers that would like catch it and use electricity and spread it throughout the city.
Man, he was crazy.
It was interesting, but the crazy thing is it wasn't going to cost money. It was going to be super cheap.
What drugs do you think he was hopped up on, Nikola Tesla?
But man, he did some weird shit. Like the electric motor exists because of his like genius, and it's like one of those things where it's like he created a motor that uses electricity. Like that doesn't like before that it was like, oh, fires and explosions is what we need. Yeah. Steam, you know.
Like, I'm an innocent guy myself.
You would be.
No.
Edison's a sociopath.
Oh man. Google. This one's just for you. I threw this in here just because I want to hear your thoughts. We talked a little bit on our games podcast. Google shifting away from making its own games for Stadia. It's shutting down studios in Montreal and Los Angeles, and industry veteran Jade Raymond, who Google tapped to lead game development division, is leaving the company. Stadia Vice President and General Manager Phil Harrison wrote in a blog post that Google will keep investing in the service. Quote, creating best-in-class games from the ground up takes many years and significant investment, and the cost is going up exponentially, Harrison wrote. Given our focus on building on the proven technology of Stadia, as well as deepening our business partnerships, we've decided to not be investing further in bringing exclusive content from our internal development from SG&E beyond any near-term planned games. According to Harrison, Google believes working with developers and publishers to bring third-party games into the platform is the best path building Stadia into a long-term sustainable business. Thoughts?
Well, that didn't last very long, did it? Damn.
I remember saying this in 2000 when it was announced. This would be, I think someone clipped it and sent it to me on Twitter. I think I said 2023 Stadia is done. I said that many times.
This is the break. I mean, because it's not done yet. It's not done yet. You know,
no, we got 2 more years.
Definitely 2 more years. Yeah. Man, I can't believe how much they fuck things up. You know, where it's like, what were they thinking? And it's so long. It would have been really cool if what's that game that everyone like is mad about? Cyberpunk. If only they had like figured out that's the best place to play it. And been like, oh hey, but you can play it on Stadia. Like that really could have been. I think it could have been a game changer if they had sent that out to the instead of just PC codes for all the people that were playing it beforehand for coverage. If they had sent out Stadia and like the articles were all like, "Hey, we played it on PC and Stadia and it works really well there." And then when it came out broken as shit on PS3, people could have turned to Stadia. Like that would have been cool, and that I think would have boosted numbers, but it didn't happen. So no one wants to play Stadia, and apparently Stadia doesn't even want to make their own games. So that
It,
sucks. Sucks 150 people lost their jobs. That's like the shittiest part of the story.
I know that's what drives me crazy when companies do these big initiatives and big pushes without like going all in on it. Because I kind of felt this from the beginning with Google. I feel like it was kind of like, oh, this is getting big, so we're gonna throw our hat in the ring without actually being like trying to. I get that
Here's the
they
thing. I
didn't
think
really
that they
try
went
to understand. No, they didn't. No.
No, I think they went all in, and when they got to the point where it was like, "Oh shit, we announced this already. We've shown shit, and we've set a date, but it's not ready." They're like, "We're too in. We have to launch this," and it was just like, "All right, y'all need to have better people in charge to be like, no, no, this is fundamentally broken. This is gonna leave a sour taste in people's minds forever," and that's what happens. Like, look at us. Like, I haven't played anything on Stadia in the last like year, year,
Yeah.
and like I've been told it's better, and that's cool. But like because of their terrible launch, I don't know that I'll ever give it another shot. You know?
But well, and why would you? You have a PlayStation. You have an Xbox. Like you have these
Yeah, but
things.
Cyberpunk worked on it better.
True. The
You know,
like
and it's like again, I feel if that was like a more widely known thing, Cyberpunk would have been received a little bit better, and it could have actually helped Stadia. Like I don't know if like a significant amount, but it would have been interested to see if that like if people were like, "Hey man, this game that everyone wants to play but sucks on all these things works really well on this." Like that's a cool incentive of like, all right, well I'll go check it out in this.
I feel like we're not going to hear anything from Stadia in the next couple years, and it's just going to be
Nope.
like they're going to keep like releasing like games and stuff on it. Not obviously not exclusive games now, but like just like the games that are coming out that are third party are going to be coming out on Stadia, and then I feel like early
But
2023
not
they're going to
all
be
of them.
like,
Not
hey,
all of them.
August of 2023 we're actually going to be closing the Stadia.
I just wish that they had been like, hey, you know what? All the games that are on there right now, all 10 of them, they're free. Just go play them. If you have the Founders Pack, that we're changing this. This is a beta now. And we'll talk to you guys in 6 months when we fix things.
Well, also, why don't you just hold your announcement and hold your rollout until you have games for it? Like, they could
Well,
announce
because like
Stadia now,
that's
like this year, with like
are there a
games.
bunch of games? Like, are there hella games for it, or is it still
They don't have
like
no exclusives. That's what I'm saying. If they
yeah,
would
yeah? But
if they
what I'm
would have
saying
put their
is,
money behind that before, in terms of like the pre-development stuff, I feel like they'd be in a much better position.
I'm pulling up Stadia right
But
now.
again, this is all Monday morning quarterbacking here. But I mean, it really
Yeah, but I
comes
feel
down
like
to
when they
Amazon and
announced it, like when Stadia actually launched, we were like, "This is not good. Like this has serious problems.
yeah.
Like there's very little to play on."
Amazon and Microsoft basically are going to be left to see who can actually nail this, and my money is on Microsoft.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what's Luna,
Luna.
how that pans out. Is that gonna be worth a damn?
I think if there's a company that can, I mean, you can say that about Google too, but I feel like
No, but I mean, I feel like at this point, Google's already kind of like that story's written. You
oh
know,
no,
it doesn't look good.
I'm saying if there's a company that's already kind of like has the money and is already kind of in that like gaming culture already, I feel like Amazon would be able to probably do a fairly good job at this, if they decide to roll this out, like widely.
What a disappointment this is.
Yeah, no, it's a bummer because that would be a cool future. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, as much as a critic I am, like, I would love that future of just being like, oh, turn on my LG TV, go to the Stadia app, pick up a controller. I'm in. I'm out. I'm
I
in.
mean, it sounds like we're closer every day for you to be able to deal with the Xbox app, right?
And
So that's cool.
I got
That you
faith in
have
that.
that.
But again, I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna work with bad internet, which a lot of people still have.
Sure, not well. That's how.
Yeah.
But people with good internet will probably be fun. You know,
Yeah.
sucks.
Well, that's
Someday you'll
that's
get good internet. Just keep believing and pushing your local governments.
that's why I have faith the Xbox is able to do it because they have physical hardware. Speaking of physical hardware,
Mm,
oh sorry, you got something to say about that?
yeah, it's just one of those things. Yeah, they have physical hardware, but like your TV won't have that hardware. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's what I'm saying. They have physical hardware for the people who can't have good internet. They could just buy an Xbox.
Got it. As an alternative. Good
Yeah,
stuff. Good stuff.
yeah.
Smart boy.
Uh,
Pretty boy.
and speaking of physical hardware, Sony's A1 is $6,500 50 megapixel camera that shoots 30 frames per
Ooh, it's
second
not
burst
cheap, huh?
and 8K video. Sony has just dropped a bomb on the camera world with the launch of the A1. Its new flagship full-frame mirrorless camera comes with some breakthrough features thanks to the 50 megapixel Exmor RS/CMOS sensor and cutting-edge BINOS XR processor. It offers 30 frames per second shooting speeds, 8K 30 frames per second, 4K 120 frames per second video, and a lot more. With all that, it can easily take on Canon's R5, which we know has some overheating issues, though it comes at a significantly higher price. The A1's key features might be its incredible speeds, and it could shoot 50.1 megapixel images up to 30 frames per second with both autofocus and auto exposure enabled using electronic shutter. That is 1500 megabits per second worth of data. At those speeds, you can capture up to 155 compressed raw files before the buffer fills. Basically, I mean, we can go down like the whole list of everything if you want, but
This thing's a fucking monster.
it is insane.
It's crazy how much it looks like our cameras, huh?
It also comes with an insane
Or my
price, though.
camera. Yeah. $6,500.
But I think that's
A lot.
important because I bet you they have things in place to make sure it doesn't overheat, and we'll see. I'm interested to see if they have overheating issues because Canon ran into that as soon as they started trying to do stuff like this.
Huge mistakes with that whole plan of like, oh yeah, you can record for 30 minutes, then it overheats, and you have to turn it off for 8 minutes. It's like, oof, okay. That is
Not great.
certainly a choice. I just don't record in 8K. It was like, well, then why would I buy this camera? You know?
Yeah, I mean that's one of your biggest things, and I know Sony to me is such like a leader in the camera world that I can't imagine them having any issues with this. I mean, also check this out: the world's first 240 hertz OLED electronic viewfinder. Like they're doing lots of cool stuff, and they're going to continue pushing this forward. But that price
seems
tag
unnecessary.
but Kevin,
Uh-huh.
you are the king of unnecessary. I'm
I
the
don't
king
think
of
that's true.
unnecessary. You're getting foot pedals so you can play and switch cameras.
Don't.
Just produce the
Don't
show.
just-
But no, I get you though because I'm the same way as you in terms of just unnecessary everything, and I appreciate the unnecessary because it makes the experience better.
Dude, this video is really good. Like the video on this article, I have it playing right now, and it's showing different stills, and it's just like, oh my god, this camera looks fucking crazy.
The video. Here, I'll pull that up.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I just don't see the. I mean, I guess professional photographer. That's the only thing.
That's 100%. Yeah. But that's the thing. That's who this is marketed to. Not you, not me. Like, not even like, the kind of like, there's no reason why Kind of Funny would ever use a camera like this for streaming, even if we're using like the Cam Link. Because it's like, this is way higher. Like, you can't even stream, wow.
Yeah, dude, it's a pretty
Like,
piece of
I'm
hardware.
further down where they're showing like the way that like it takes photos without like the blacking out for the shutter, and it's like that's really cool. It's such a dumb little thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Um, yeah, but again, yeah, this camera's not for us. This camera is for yeah, like if you go to like a minute, yeah, there you go. That kind of I don't know what you're at right now, but and cameras have always been absurdly expensive. Not I don't know how many went for 6,500. What was the price of the Canon's giant camera? The full well, that's full frame too. So that's
R6,
no, this is a while ago. I can't remember the model of this.
90D
Sure. How much is the 90D
when it came out or right now?
when it came out?
Let
Wow.
me see.
Oh my god. Go to a minute and like a minute 50.
Hold on, I've got a bunch of things going on. I can't see the launch price. Hold on, minute 50 right here.
I want to say it was like $3,000. The way it can track the focus. Do you see that? Like the dude biking around.
Yeah,
See that?
that's impressive.
Like that's insane. Like normally it would be like like even right now the camera that I'm using, which is Sony A6400, it's like the little box is like moving, and it's not. I don't think that I don't know. Yeah, that's the autofocus, but it's just like that one is just smoothly moving because it's getting between every frame. It's figuring out the focus. It's
And
wild.
Sony's always had awesome autofocus, but this is really impressive, especially how smooth it actually tracks. I'm interested to see the reviews on this when it comes out because obviously I'm not going to be able to get my hands on one and just see people run it through the ringer and see if it has the same issues that Canon experienced. But I mean, if it has no overheating issues, it's almost worth it just to spend the double the price.
You have to imagine that with the response that the world has had, like they probably were like, we can't have it overheat. We have to figure out a way. Put a fan in it, maybe. Put 2 fans.
Yeah, well, wasn't that the thing with the Canon mirrorless? Is there was no fans?
Mm-hmm. That's why I said put 2 fans in it.
Yeah. Let's try to just not like I don't get these companies sometimes, but impressive. If you're a camera head, if you're a professional photographer or a videographer, this is exciting news. Especially because eventually this will just become standard. We'll get this on entry level stuff one day.
Mm-hmm. Little ways away.
Yeah, but
But do you know anything about like the log settings? Like the Fuji has the F log, Sony has the S log. Like, why is it better to record in that and then color grade? Oh, image stabilization is
it
pretty
gives
good.
you more. It's called metadata. So it gives you more metadata in the actual whatever you're capturing. So you basically have more to play with. So they have just different versions of capturing metadata and how
Well, then,
much
so how's
metadata
that?
you can get out of it.
So what's the difference? Do you know with RAW? Because it was saying like, oh, it can also record RAW and like this at this rate.
I imagine. I don't know that. I don't know because I imagine RAW is just like more metadata, but it doesn't have the preset color stuff that these companies put on it as well. Because I think there's like with those different logs, I feel like you'd have different color settings. That's why if you record, there's like inputs like LUTs that you
Yeah.
can put for specific
Yeah,
logs, and that helps
got
with the
it.
color. So I imagine it has to do something with the actual coloring of that log versus just a
Uh-huh.
raw where it's just the raw metadata.
That makes sense.
That's what I would
Uh,
imagine it is.
yeah. So one thing that I'm looking at here that's pretty cool is that it has a regular size USB port on it.
I wonder for what, like for what would that be used for?
I have no idea. Well, you could use that for using well, but if it records an F log already, like I know a lot of people use Shoguns as recording devices for these nice high end cameras because they record in a high bit rate and whatever log that they're supposed to, they can interpolate that correctly. Also, because no one uses the viewfinder in reality, you would use that as the viewfinder, the the actual one of these little guys. Pick it up. Oh, there's so much stuff around it. So yeah, you plug this guy into the camera. You get a gobo, like one of the heads that screw on like this, and then it attaches there, and then you can watch the recording on this because this is way better to like use to instead of the little tiny viewfinder, or the back of the screen. So I imagine that's what you're plugging in the full HDMI cable into, instead of using a micro.
Oh, you're saying in the camera there's a full HDMI, not USB. You said USB.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. I was like, what is that?
Fuck.
Yeah, so
Okay,
HDMI,
yeah,
that makes sense.
That up. Wow, sorry, I'm tired. I'm sleepy.
Or you could use Sony's new 5G phone, the Xperia Pro, to use that as the viewfinder, Kevin.
It's so dumb. Why did they not give up on this? It seemed like they had given up on this phone.
No, we got this announcement
about it like a year and a half.
We launched this show talking about CES last year, and this was one of the things where they're like, oh, it's coming. And it's here, ladies and gentlemen. Shortly after Sony showed off its first 5G phone in early 2020, it teased an even more capable Pro model that the company quickly stopped talking about for the rest of the year. Long after the long silence, the Xperia Pro has finally resurfaced, along with some crucial details. It's going on sale in the US and will cost an eye-watering $2,500. If that price didn't make it immediately obvious that Xperia Pro isn't for you or me, while Sony concedes some deep-pocketed individuals may buy one anyway. The company's latest smartphone is geared toward video professionals working in the field, especially those who might use its mmWave 5G connection to stream events or quickly ferry files to clients. Sony's concept is a tantalizing one, especially now that broadcasters are experimenting with more mobile camera setups. Remember that Sony's cameraman on the sideline of the Seahawks-Washington game in the NFL, they actually use these to broadcast these on cameras. You saw them, like you saw these phones on the cameras as they've designed them to use to kind of experiment if it could work, and it does. And also comes with a full built or a mini HDMI as well built in to the actual camera itself, or to the phone itself. It's basically an Xperia 1.2 with a more durable outside, like it's meant to be rough and tumbled, and it has a mini HDMI as well as we'll see here.
Isn't the 5G also like a different plan? Like it's a different type of 5G? It's the broad, right?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I'd assume so.
It's a stronger 5G connection.
Yeah, because this is meant to be able to broadcast to like a data center to be able to receive the broadcast.
I love how much I like these phones. I like the shape a lot.
The shape,
it's
the
so
screen,
brick-like. But my God, that price. Who's using this? How many of these are they gonna sell?
Not.
Because are these cheaper? Like, is buying 10 of these cheaper than buying like a truck? Or not buying a truck, but using one of those the like satellite trucks to broadcast your signal wherever the hell it needs to go.
Did you just ask if it was cheaper than that? Yeah, of course it's cheaper than that.
Well, yeah, but like, is it does it work as well?
They broadcast the whole NFL game on it, and nobody noticed. Yeah, that's impressive.
Who was like? When was this?
Last year. No, 2019.
But okay, pre-pandemic stuff.
Yeah.
So like, people were there with a bunch of phones.
Yeah, hooked up to the cameras. And
no, but I mean, like, normal people were in the stands that had phones that were spitting out their own little like 5G signals.
Yeah.
So interference doesn't seem to be a huge problem. That's cool.
Well, we'll see, because they didn't have 5G at the time. So I imagine if you have a bunch of people with 5G connections, that can also be an issue.
You're making some good points, because I was going to say, like, shit, that works this well. I'll have the company buy me one. And next time we go to an E3, which seems so far away, great. We'll just upload videos from that.
I hate
the speeds
how it's cropped. Look how it's cropped.
Well, that's because Sony goes with their insanely ratioed monitors, right? Or the screens on their phones.
But still, it is
They're
annoying.
like ultra wide for a phone, and it's like, it sucks how it's cropped there, but like it's cool when you're watching something else or playing your little video games.
Look at that though. That's it's cool. It
Yeah,
is
it's
very
really
cool.
cool.
Not for $2,500 though.
No,
I mean,
no.
if it is the thing where it's like in your case, like if you could use this for like broadcasting,
Sure.
a live event or like, it's just so niche. Sony's so weird. Sony goes for like the most niche market on their
It's
smartphones.
it's very interesting.
But yeah, it's weird. But if you have $2,500 laying around and you're looking to get into some broadcasting, you can pick up the Xperia Pro this year. Formlabs launches its first SLS 3D printer for in-house prototyping. Today, Formlabs is introducing a new selective laser Sintergen. Is that how you pronounce that, Kevin? You're the science guy. Sintering. Sintergen.
Sintering?
Sintering.
Sure. Selective
3D
laser
printer
sintering.
for prototypes and engineers. The Fuse One uses the company's first nylon powder to make SLS printing more full, affordable, and accessible for businesses. It's an additional industrial printer with a removable build chamber, which can be swapped out when the job is finished or near continuous use. In addition, a built-in camera will let users watch the build taking place in real time, letting them keep an eye out for any issues. These will retail you. The Fuse shift will set you back $9,000.
No. The Sift, the SLS is $18,000, $19,000 almost.
Got it.
The
No,
Sift kind of goes through and cleans out the. This shit is wild. Have you ever heard of SLS printing?
no. Explain to me. That's why I brought it up. I came for a
Bro,
lesson.
this shit is insane. All right. So imagine you've got a bucket full of sand, and in that sand, what they do is they turn up the temperature. It's not a bucket, it's an oven full of sand, right? They turn up the temperature so it's really close to the melting point of the sand, and then they shoot a laser to push it over that edge, and they can draw shit in like 3D space there, and you can create stuff. It's insane.
That's really cool.
Yeah, let me see if there's any good part of the video that shows this off in a good way.
3D printing has always fascinated me, and it's cool seeing like what did we talk about last time, where it was like different printing, like different materials that you can use the
Yeah.
3D print. And is there a 3D printer that does multiple materials, or is it just
Yes.
basically one material that?
No. You can get there's a bunch of crazy stuff. Like you can have a 3D. So there's a bunch of different types of 3D printing. The one that you're probably thinking of is the what is it called? FTL F something, which is like Fed. Um, well, basically, it's got a giant spool that it's slowly pulling from, and that feeds that through the little thing that like puts down the dots that will make whatever you're building. What they have now is there's companies that make machines that hook up to it that essentially mix different types of filaments. So you'll have like 4 different types of filaments, and what you can do is you can make 2 of those filaments different colors, and one of the filament be like made of a different material that'll break down in like rubbing alcohol. So then you grab your print, you put it in rubbing alcohol, let it sit down as the filament that is made to break down breaks down, and then you can have stuff like a gear in it that turns. Isn't
That's
that wild?
crazy.
Yeah. So the big thing about SLS is the stuff that it makes is really, really sturdy, really strong, and really cool. But also the amount of stuff that you can make at one time is significant. So instead of just doing printing the single object that you're making, you could print a bunch of objects in this like little oven. So if you pull up the video around like 50 seconds, they start kind of showing what it looks like, but they're only showing the like the digital readout. But yeah, it's really really cool what they can do with all the different technologies they're doing. And then like there's a new, well, not new anymore because SLS is kind of the newer one, but there's one that basically you fill a little bucket with this liquid, and it slowly dips it into a thing with a screen on the bottom, and that burns the image on there, which creates layers. It's all of this stuff is fascinating. My little brother owns two 3D printers. I don't think he's ever used them, so someday once the garage is up and running, we'll have them.
Yeah, what do you mean he hasn't
See,
used them?
look at this. Look at this block. You clear the block, and that's what's inside. It's the thing you wanted to print out. So crazy.
That's super cool.
Yeah. So the sifting thing that costs $7,000 is the machine they have it in there. Basically, shakes the shit out of it and collects all of the dust that hasn't been melted, so that you can reuse it.
Oh,
see
Kevin,
that?
how far away are we from actually being able to get these in our houses? At a reasonable
Oh man,
price?
you can get a 3D printer right now for like $200.
I'm saying like one of these though.
One of these?
Yeah. Right, because I feel like this is gonna be the
5 to 10 years.
What is that? That's crazy. They made a chainmail?
Yeah. But like they also made the snowboard connector, like the boot strap.
Mm-hmm. That's
With all the components built, like they built all the components you needed for that.
that is really cool. I'm the more I am friends with you, the more I'm interested in 3D printing and kind of want to get into it. Just to see.
Yeah, I mean that's like I've tried to learn how to use 3D tools to like learn how to sculpt in 3D, and it's like that shit is so fucking hard. Fortunately for us, there's places like Thingiverse, I think is what it's called, where people just upload their designs of stuff, and then you can go in there and use that for 3D printing.
Well,
Pretty rad.
last piece of news for the day. Apple's VR headset may include a fan and support prescription lenses. So we've heard a little bit about Apple's VR headset. I think we're getting close to it. What do you think of it actually hitting market?
I don't know, and I really, really question whether or not is there a market for it.
There's a market for Oculus.
I mean, is there a big market for Oculus?
That's the question.
Will Apple make that market bigger? Yes, 100%. And it's cool.
Anecdotally, I would say yes, there's a big market for it. Just from what I've seen in terms of demand. In terms of everybody's talking about Oculus, every time you show somebody the Oculus, they end up getting one. Like everybody I've shown my Oculus to, they've ended up buying an Oculus.
How often are Oculuses sold out?
They've been sold out. I'd say for like I'm saying in retail stores, you can catch it every once in a while on their website.
Sure.
I'd say a year and a half they've been sold out.
Wow. But see, that's like,
is there manufacturing
low demand?
things?
Yeah. Is that no, not low demand. Sorry. Low
supply.
Supply. Thank you. Sorry, these hiccups are like I'm trying to fight them off. Okay, I won that fight.
But
and is Apple moving into this like world something that like will actually help, or like is it Apple trying to diversify? Because like another difficult thing is like Apple's operating system makes things different. Like you don't have Steam's on Apple right now.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But there's less options, right?
No, it's just
no. That's
no. The same amount of options, but your hardware isn't going to be able to run it as good because it's not optimized for gaming, or like you can't really optimize it for gaming.
Sure.
But I will.
I don't know, this whole thing I just think is kind of interesting, and seems like Apple's like 2 years late to the party.
Well, here's the thing. Apple's a company that when they do something, it becomes mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong? Like, tell me I'm wrong. I mean, they do tablets. tablets have been around before the iPad, and it became mainstream. A tablet
Yeah,
was
I
a
mean,
dumb
I don't
thing
I,
that you were like, you're a dumb person for having that. And then
but like,
Apple did it, and everybody was like,
are
oh,
watches
tablets.
are watches mainstream?
I'd say so.
Or
The Apple Watches, I'd say Apple Watch is more mainstream than any of the watches.
look. More mainstream, sure. More commonly seen out there. I don't think smartwatches are mainstream right now.
Nobody, the
Like,
Apple Watches.
but like, I don't think so. I'd say out of your 10 consumers, how many of them are wearing smartwatches?
I'd probably say 7 of them.
What? Really?
And this could just be the area that we're in, being
Sure.
Bay Area, tech,
Yeah.
the tech hub central of the world.
Sure.
But I feel like if you have a like an iPhone, like you get AirPods, that's your next accessory, which that really made wireless earbuds take off as well. The AirPods, to be honest.
Yeah.
When you have people calling non-AirPods AirPods, like older people, you know you have
Yeah.
you have the market.
Yeah, you get the firm grasp on the market there.
And Apple Watches, I feel like, are the next purchase after AirPods, like accessory wise.
I mean, this is cool then, right? This is gonna open up the market, hopefully in a big way, and it'll further now, like further grow how many people are aware of this shit and like get it. But I don't know. Do you think long term there are gonna be VR like VR is gonna stay relevant? Because it seems like PlayStation was just kind of like, all right, cool, we're done.
Did
You
they
know?
announce that, or was that just like that's how it
No, they
feels,
just
right?
stopped. They just stopped announcing PSVR stuff.
Yeah.
Like the last PSVR like big thing I want to say was the Iron Man VR, and that kind of just came and went.
Yeah, but Sony's really good at like hitting the jackpot early and not continuing with it or like really bringing attention to it because I feel like they're terrible at marketing. But like I'm telling you what, if Apple does this, so it looks like they're pushing for as early as 2022 to actually launch their VR headset. Their AR one is not happening anytime soon, from reports from Bloomberg. It looks like it's going to have M1 chips in them, like the ARM
Sure.
based chips in them. It's going to have
I mean,
some
that makes
fans.
sense, right? Because your main concern is going to be, well, I guess no. You've got the weight is probably your biggest concern there, and whether or not it's connected to anything, which could be battery usage. Then, if it's not plugged into something, which case a processor chip that runs less hot and uh, doesn't require a giant or it uses less battery will all of that is cumulative that will help
Yeah. I
make a better product.
I feel like Apple getting into this is going to mainstream this more than Oculus could ever. Because again, Oculus is something where I've showed it to every single one of my friends, and everyone I've showed it to has ended up buying an Oculus. I feel like this is going to change the VR game in a very, very big way. Whether it's like, if it's bad, then no. But like, even if it's like semi good in terms of like, it's doing what, all it has to do is do what Oculus is doing, give it a snazzy look, put the Apple logo on it, and you're gonna be selling billions of these. I really do believe that.
Billions.
Billions.
I still think it's going to be very niche for a long time. I just feel like the biggest problem with VR is that like one VR, one person. You know what I mean?
Now, what if Apple innovates in a way to where it's like they
One
make
VR,
it
two
a
people.
fun experience for like a group if you are in a group.
Yeah, I just think
Because
that
this,
Apple's not super known for making games and gaming experiences.
well,
You know?
I'm also interested as I don't know if this is geared toward games.
Yeah, I mean
That's what's
that's
weird.
the wildest thing you could have fucking said right there. You crazy sack of shit. You're right. Why are we thinking about it just games? Because that's the VR experiences that we know. What if this is about it like, hey, plug this in and then you can go to this VR little town.
Yeah,
You know?
or even Apple TV, you can plug like if they make like a VR specific entertainment experience where it's like, okay, turn on the Apple like TV app or whatever and you load up this like show and like somehow they made it interactive or whatever or somehow they make that experience elevated through VR. Who knows? I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe it is just games, maybe, but I would suspect games is going to be like a very side thing on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what resources they're throwing toward the experiences. But if Apple throws money toward these experiences, we can be getting some really cool stuff, especially right now where like live events and everything is shut down.
Yeah, or fucking shut down.
We'll be having these EDC kids with their little their light gloves with their Apple headset on. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking kids, you know what I mean?
But yeah, so that looks like it's coming next year, possibly. Which is exciting. Seems like a far away. Far away.
Seems really far away. Also, it's like at the headphones and how like absurdly stupid they look and how wildly expensive they are and the fact that like I don't know, they're comparable to other headphones that are cheaper. Like kind of bums me out and makes me think that like okay, if we ever see this, it's going to be really expensive and you know, not like
That's what's crazy about Apple users, though. It's like a cult, Kevin. Mm-hmm. Apple users are cultists. They're these people who would be brought into Scientology really easy because it's like once you're in, you're in.
Aren't
like
you an Apple user?
They do, and their stuff works really good. You know what I mean?
And like I love it.
And it's one of those things where it's like they will like. It is almost like a fashion statement for AirPods or an Apple Watch or like it's
absolutely,
like
absolutely.
It's they're in. They don't even know what it does, but they're in as soon as Apple announces it. It's crazy. It's insane. Mm-hmm. So they already have a very dedicated base essentially.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, the dog is like all over the cat over here. Leave him alone.
You're good. Well, we're at the end of the show anyway. So Kevin, thank you for joining me on Tech Fever this week. I appreciate you. Appreciate you for taking time out of your day.
I'm sorry about all the issues that we've had.
You're good. Don't apologize. I've done it to you. You know?
I don't think so. I wouldn't let that shit stand. I'm going to send you one. Look at this really quick.
Yeah.
I just sent you an image of 3 towers. 3 little chess towers. With looks like a quadruple helix. When you click on it, it's 3 different forms of 3D printing. Just because I like talking about this stuff, zoom in on that bitch. Let me see. Make that big boy. There you go. So on the left, you have the FDM, which is the filament. You know, so that's the one that like has the giant spool of material that is being pumped out of it. The next one is the SLA, which is it has a bunch of liquid and it uses an LED screen or a laser if you get the more expensive ones to draw the shape on there. And the last one is the SLS, which is what we were talking about, that powder material that it's getting lasered into it. So you can see they each, like the SLA has the prettiest looking design on there. And like the filament has all the FDM has the lines. SLS has less of the lines. The cool thing is the SLS, you can do stuff that makes it so that you can put like gears and stuff. Anyways, I just wanted to give it one more second of attention just because
it's very cool.
Shit is so crazy.
I think SLA is the prettiest looking one.
Yeah, and that's the one that is a vat of liquid that it's slowly submerging a plate into, that using the LED screen to flash, I think, IR light at it. It's wild. It's wild stuff. This is so cool.
Technology's cool, man. Well,
it really is.
You can follow me at Cheeks_Junior on Twitter to stay up to date with all things Play Everything. Of course, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/Play Everything. If you're listening on audio services, I appreciate you. I see you. I validate you. You're there. You're definitely our biggest audience. So, of course, thank you for listening. Subscribe on those services. Leave a review if that platform allows you to. It helps us out. You can follow, this post 10 a.m. Thursdays every week. Most weeks, And you can follow Kevin at Kind of Funny Kevin on the Twitter, and you can see what he's up to over at youtube.com/kind of funny.
Mostly yelling at kids.
Mostly. Until next time.
We have the fever.
You missed it every week.